the heart of the fan.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. This afternoon from Miami, the St. Louis Cardinals looking for a sweep. It's game number 3, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. And with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Day Baseball. Cardinals looking for a sweep. And let's jump right into it as Jack Flaherty gets the start here this afternoon for St. Louis. He made the opening day assignment for the Cardinals. Jack Flaherty, our Kia player profile, brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com.
Jack Flaherty clearly wants to improve on his opening day start. He is the ace this year, so he needs to take the ball today, set an example, and go out there and get a great quality start.
Pablo Lopez going for the Miami Marlins. Tommy Edman, a home run in Game 1. Cardinals came back late in Game 2. Game 3 coming up. Good changeup, good breaking ball as well.
Yeah, what they're going to have to do today is stay on the ball, drive the ball the other way. Like we're seeing here in this video, guys are looking out over the plate and pushing the ball off of them a little bit so you can stay on that fastball, so it opens up where you can see the off-speed pitch. And you can see what these guys have been doing this year is when they've been driving the ball the other way, you buy yourself a hanging breaking ball, change up, or slider like you see in this video, and voila, homers will come.
Dylan Carlson late last night in game number 2. It's game number 3 coming up. It's the St. Louis Cardinals, the Miami Marlins, Jack Flaherty, Pablo Lopez. Game 3 on Bally Sports. And the Cardinals continue their road trip. Matter of fact, they'll wrap it up today from Lone Depot Park in Miami. It's the Cardinals and the Marlins. And it is game number 3 where the roof is closed. It is 75 degrees. Now the paneling, though, outside beyond the left field wall, that is open, but the roof is closed.
Just an amazing look at this new ballpark. It looks just like Miami in that shot when you look in towards there, except for the way the roof is. And if you spin it around with those windows, it's amazing how they built this ballpark. And now I'll let you get to the starting lineup.
It is a gorgeous ballpark. There's no doubt. It's Tommy Edman at the top, then Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Paul DeYoung, Matt Carpenter, another start at second base, Yadi Molina, Tyler O'Neill. He'll get the start in left. Dylan Carlson homered last night. He's in center. And Jack Flaherty batting ninth. Cardinals facing Pablo Lopez. He's a good one. Made a start on Friday against the Rays. Took a no decision. 5 innings. Gave up a couple of hits. Cardinals saw him a couple of times in spring training.
Yeah, Danny, the Hyundai pitch arsenal. You see the fastballs up there? Well, we did. And they are gone. But good fastball, breaking ball, pretty good changeup. Talked about his changeup early on, but one thing I noticed was the velocity on the fastball seemed to be pretty good.
As Edman hits it out of play. Tommy last night making things happen with his speed. He has stolen a base. We saw him dive for a ball in Cincinnati. Beat out a couple of infield singles. Scored on pass balls twice. Leadoff guy with speed. You love to see it. And you love to see that too. Base hit into left. And the Cardinals get a leadoff knock from Tommy Edman.
Well, you got your second baseman and your leadoff hitter now, and it's just now is your right fielder and your leadoff hitter.
It's going to be interesting how that plays out. Cardinals, if they don't get production from others in that right field spot, will you see Tommy Edman playing there a lot? And you could.
Well, you could, and especially today, if you see Matt Carpenter put some good swings together.
Sure.
I mean, he's obviously hitting 0-0-0, but yesterday looked really good for him, especially off a really tough pitcher. So we'll see.
There's Paul Goldschmidt again in the second spot in the lineup. So now we've seen this on the first road trip, Jimmy, where you have Goldie batting second, Arenado is batting third. Do you like that in this lineup?
I do. I really do. And it's been working clearly. And you think about this is You really got two of the better hitters in this league hitting in the first inning.
Yeah.
And then you have ridiculous speed on first. Very athletic with Tommy. And then what I kind of like is what I've noticed, Paul DeJong is feeding off of Goldie and Arenado because, like I said last night, well, hey, they're doing it. Why can't I? And so now he starts having better at bats. That's going to rub off on a guy like O'Neill. Basically what you're doing is you're going down the lineup, right? and each guy, as you click down, probably not as good as the guy above him. Well, the guy above him wants to be better, or the guy below it, the guy above wants to be better. So you're going, oh, I can do that. I can be better than this guy, or I can be better. And so now all of a sudden, as a group, you're challenging each other to be a better team. You don't want to be left out of the hit parade.
No,
not at all.
Marlins have dropped for their first 5 games this season. They're struggling offensively. They've scored just 7 runs in their 4 losses combined. Cardinals winning game 1 4-1 last night, coming from behind to win it 4-2. Not seeing a lot of hard hit balls against Lopez. Matter of fact, last year average exit velocity was 85 miles per hour. And that's 7th lowest among starters, so doesn't get hit hard. 2-2. Ground ball, foul.
Well, when we were looking at that pitch arsenal, we had 2 different types of fastballs with the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer. He's got a cutter and a curveball, but he only uses them a handful of times a game. 30% of the time he'll throw that changeup, so that's telling you his changeup is good. Usually when you have a good changeup with a sinker and a 4-seamer, you're going to get a lot of soft contact, because what you're doing is you're really putting the hitters in between pitches, and that is when you get to be successful, keeping guys off balance.
He's got a really good changeup. He's been working on a breaking ball to add to his repertoire, changing some of the grips with it. There's the fastball at 95, fouled back.
Well, if you watch, Danny, the sinker is 91, 92, and it has good movement. So when you start to look for that, all of a sudden right there you see that 4-seam fastball 95. I'm sure there's probably even more in there. It's tough to make a decision quick enough to know which one you want to hit.
The 2-2 pitch to Goldie. Goldschmidt lines it out at second, back to first, double play. So Aguilar was holding at first, got it on a short hop, it looked like, and turned it into 2. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs, Dickerson, Marte, and Cooper in the outfield. Anderson, Chisholm, Birdie, Aguilar on the infield behind the plate, Chad Wallach. Around the Horn again presented by Dobbs. Goldschmidt hitting into some tough luck. And now it's Nolan Arenado.
Tough luck. You see his reaction? He didn't even know where the ball went.
Yeah.
But he stayed inside of it so much that he fouled it off.
Nolan batting an even 400 at the start of play. 1 home run is driven in 3 on this trip. And he has hit safely in each of his first 5 games with the Cardinals. 8 for 20. It was an odd season for Lopez in terms of his first 6 starts last year. ERA was just above 2. Then in the middle 2 starts, which included a game in which the Marlins lost 29-9, his ERA was almost at 20. And then his last 3 starts, the ERA was a run and a half, and opponents hit just 136 against him. So he's got good stuff.
Well, and that is also a guy who's working through the ups and downs during the course of a season, being only 25 years old. And you kind of lose some stuff, and then you find it, and then you lose it, and that's typical with anyone, but especially with a guy with electric stuff. You lose it a little bit and you can't figure out, all of a sudden you're getting hit. Somebody says, hey, you're doing this or you're doing that, and then wham, back at it.
2-2, chop to third. Anderson makes the play. Leadoff hit by Tommy Edman. Erased on a double play. Arenado the ground out. Jack Flaherty to the mound when we come back. Just 4 1/3, 94 pitches on a cold day. It was 37 degrees in Cincinnati at the Great American Ballpark as you get a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. And I'm sure the temperatures much more to his liking today.
A little bit more favorable, a little bit better grip on the ball with some perspiration, some humidity. See that fastball and that slider is go-to. Working on that curveball and doesn't throw that changeup a whole lot, but he'll throw it a few times.
Corey Dickerson, third game in a row at the top of the lineup for the Marlins. Then Starling Marte, Jesus Aguilar, Garrett Cooper, Brian Anderson, Chisholm, Birdie, Wallach, and Lopez. Starting 9 for Don Mattingly, the manager of the year a season ago in the National League. Dickerson, no home runs. He's driven in one and batting .143 this year. Fifth inning, Flaherty kind of hit a wall. 24 pitches, 13 balls in that opener. Had a wild pitch in the game, hit a batter. And the first pitch is a strike. Our Toyota key to the game. Be the ace. He's the guy.
What do you want him to be?
The ace.
Just that's it?
Yes.
Right on. I like it. By the way, you are the ace, so you have to go out there and pitch like the ace.
That's
now.
right.
That's the bad thing about having some things put next to your name. You have to go now. You have to produce all the time. So when you hit 30 home runs, they want you to hit 30 every year. When you pitch like he's been pitching, you have to pitch like that every night.
Well, to your point,
damaging your own situation right there.
I think we put too much on him coming off his second half of 2019, which was
Cy Youngish.
.91 ERA. He was awesome in those 15 starts. So you set the standard and everybody says, well, you got to be that good, and there's no way you're going to be that good over a full 162. You wouldn't think. One ball and 2 strikes. Outfield is straight away. And that's hit out of play. Second half of 2019, there was a handful of guys who were really good and have since kind of fallen off the radar. Justin Verlander, he's hurt. Steven Strasburg was hurt last year. Mike Clevenger hurt, done for the year. Sonny Gray currently hurt for the Reds. It's tough to be consistent year after year in this game. Line drive and a base hit. Nice piece of hitting there by Dickerson.
There's that breaking ball, not the slider. Good piece of hitting right there by Dickerson. You're right. It's a big difference right there, though. That breaking ball is easy to be seen. Your body can tell you as a hitter to slow down and react differently. That slider, it's so tight and late breaking, you sometimes just don't have a chance.
Starling Marte.
I think right now in Jack's early in his career, I think that breaking ball is better for him to throw early in the count for strikes, situations that might be a full-blown hitting count, like even 0-0, 0-0 or 1-0, just be able to flip a breaking ball in there once in a while just to keep guys off your fastball and your slider.
Marte just 4 for 20, 7 strikeouts, no walks against Flaherty. Those 4 hits, 3 singles and a home run. Catches the outside corner. The home plate umpire today is Ted Timmons.
He's not liking that pitch, and I wouldn't either. I'll tell you what, Jack does a really nice job, especially early on, of hitting that corner. He is really good down and away. He's been really good at it early on in games, which is surprising. And then sometimes he just kind of loses it a little bit. I don't know if he's trying too hard to hit that corner and it's not as easy later in the game.
Just off the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. Aguilar behind Marte, and those two have been a third of the Marlins hits so far this year. Combined 382, Marte and Aguilar. Rest of the team is 197. A short lead at first. Big gap in left center. And a 2-1 pitch. Jack Flaherty. He did offer at it. Marte didn't like it, and it's 2-2.
You know what that is right there? That's looking for that fastball out there again. Starting to dive out there and cheat a little bit. Kind of lose sight of the spin.
Well, we know Jack's got one of the best sliders in baseball. His whiff rate on that pitch was nearly 50%. Third best in the game. Kevin Gausman, Scherzer, then Flaherty. The 2-2. Low. 3-2. Well, you wonder if Don Mattingly will try to be somewhat aggressive to get his offense going. Scored a total of 3 runs in this series. There he goes, and the pitch taken for a ball, so the first 2 have reached. Cardinals defensively this afternoon around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Tyler O'Neill in left, Dylan Carlson in center, Tommy Edman again in right for the 2nd consecutive game. Arenado, DeYoung, Carpenter, Goldschmidt on the infield, and Yadi behind the plate. So the Cardinals have already won this series by winning the first 2 games, and they're looking for their 6th straight year with a .500 or better record against the Marlins, which they would accomplish with a win today as well. Two on and nobody out for Aguilar.
Oh, that is just pure watching the catcher right there. Yadi was set up a little bit inside, and you can see kind of cross-fired. There's no way to frame that or keep that still, so the ball appears to be out of the zone.
Well, the bullpen has been used a lot. First road trip by the St. Louis Cardinals, and they have responded after getting beat up in Cincinnati. Bullpen has been awfully good the first 2 games. Cardinal pitchers have given up just 3 runs in the series. They gave up 27, you may recall, in the opener in those 3 games against the Redlegs. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1.
It's funny, that's the exact same spot that the pitch was for a ball, just hit the spot that time and not cross Yadi up.
And Aguilar shaking his head. He said, now wait a minute, the first pitch.
But you could have just called that a ball.
Right.
Well, he doesn't know where Yadi's set up, so that makes sense. Even though that ball was kind of just barely middle away.
3-1.
This is where he scares me right here. So as a hitter, he's not really hitting his spots, and you know when the guy comes inside and he comes inside off of the plate, you're really not thinking about it anymore. If he comes in there for a strike at some point, then you got to think, okay, if he comes back in there, do I swing, hit it, or do I stay out over the plate? Because every big hitter wants to yank a home run. This guy likes to get his arms out and hit balls out over the plate. But he doesn't have to worry about that because Jack hasn't given him anything to worry about. I think he was trying to go deep there.
Oh, yeah. 3-2. Nearly 40 home runs hit by Aguilar a few seasons ago when he was with Milwaukee. Then he went to Tampa Bay, and the Marlins picked him up. And splitting time at first base with Garrett Cooper, who, by the way, is on deck. He can play right field. That's where he's at this afternoon. And a pickoff here. Carpenter to Arenado. The tag applied and the out. Where's Dickerson going?
Somewhere way too quickly and too early. Well, I think Donnie was thinking that we ran early. Jack's not got the best control right now. They weren't even running a pickoff. He was just giving the old basic college try right there, just turning around just to see what they're doing. And that basically, to be honest with you, that's coming from the bench just to basically see if they are going to run, right? So what you do there is, that's a pretty silly move, and at second base you're basically just going to go back. But what happens is the guy at first base takes a couple of jump steps and you're like, oh, they're going to run. You're not even watching the guy at second. But they just ran themselves into an out. Little trickery by Mike Schilt.
It's got to be frustrating from the Miami side of things when you consider that last night they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and did not score. And they get the first two on here in the first inning and nobody out.
Well, and now you've opened yourself up with the base open. So if you don't want to pitch to him, you can kind of get away with that. And nothing hurt.
So 2 walks in the inning. 18 pitches here in the first inning and counting now for Jack Flaherty. What do you want to see out of Jack? I mean, if he's going to make that step to be the ace, we know the stuff is there. Is it about being more aggressive inside the zone?
What I think is yes and no. I don't think he's trying not to be aggressive in the zone. I think he might be a guy that throws a couple of good pitches and wants to get a little bit nastier. And so you can see he starts to fall off a little bit to the side when he's trying to go away, or will really open up trying to sink a ball a little bit. And that's the opposite of what you need to do. You need to keep your mechanics. You need to stay on top of the ball to get the ball to sink and go down. You need to stay closed to get your slider to spin tighter and go across. You can't fly open and try to manipulate the ball to move. The ball has to move because of everything is right, not because you've just tweaked it and tried to like kind of pull off on the side a little bit. What happens when you start opening up is you come around pitches, and that's when they just start spinning up there right down the middle.
So 0-2 here on Cooper. Inning started with a base hit to left by Dickerson. He's been picked off at second. Marte, Aguilar, back-to-back walks. 0-2 the count on the Marlins right fielder today for game number 3.
To be honest with you, Jack's got that type of fastball. I think if he just challenged guys for the whole inning and went up, down, in and out, I think he could get away with it. And then I think he could just start snapping off sliders once in a while. Totally different pitcher. Because you see right there, he just threw a fastball straight right down the middle to Cooper. He wasn't even close. That's just not being ready to hit 94. But he gets ahead, down and away. Then he wants to sink you to get a ground ball. Then he throws a slider in the dirt when things aren't right. Now all of a sudden you're 2-1. And now you're more aggressive as the hitter.
And the 0-2 pitch by Flaherty. Good pitch.
It's a really good pitch right there.
Doesn't go his way. 1-2.
Let's see, I come back right here and just do it again. Maybe up and away. Don't waste that slider until this guy, Cooper right here, proves he can hit it.
Cooper came over from the Yankees. First trade of the Derek Jeter regime. He's battled injuries in 2018 and 19. And he steps off. Big hole on the left side of the infield. Shortstop Paul DeYoung near the bag. Also in the outfield, they shade him the other way. Now he's set with 2 runners on and a 1-2 pitch.
He just doesn't have a feel for the slider tonight, and that's what I'm saying. That just really not trying to be disrespectful, and I love Jack and we're friends. That just doesn't do any good right there from a pitching standpoint. Not from Jack Flaherty's standpoint, but from a pitching standpoint, he's trying to make too good of pitches. He's blowing fastballs by this guy, and then you bounce a curveball or a slider in front of the plate. Like, I get what he's trying to do. He doesn't have the feel right now, trying to be too nasty. But I'm all for that Ponce de Leon and Gallegos school of pitching, right? They're just going after you. And I think Jack's got that type of fastball. He's got life, short arms it a little bit.
Fly ball lifted into right field, backing up Tommy Edman. He'll make the catch. Marte tagging up from second to third. Runners at the corners and 2 away.
There's just some guys that you're doing huge favors to by throwing them a breaking ball for a strike.
Speeding up their bat.
Speeding up their bat, but you're just giving them that extra second to make take another look at it and put it in play versus having to be on time and ready to go to fight off a fastball. Scott Rowland was a perfect good example of that. Scott Rowland got a guy on second base, and he knew you were going to try and throw sliders, right? So he'd sit back and hit a slider. It's not that he couldn't hit a fastball, but his bat wasn't. He had to dial it up to hit a fastball, and so he just knew that if he stayed patient, he was going to get something to hit, and over and over and over, he would get a slider and drive in that run. And if you can hit off speed pitches with guys in scoring position, you're going to drive in 100 runs.
Here's Brian Anderson.
He was the best I ever seen at that, by far.
And when he had to speed it up, like against Roger Clemens in Game 7, then he could.
And that was, you saw how his swing was, right? If you can remember that in your head, it was short and quick.
Very short. Hit up the middle, but there is Carpenter and a flip to DeYoung. So the Marlins will strand a pair. A long first inning, but no damage done. Scoreless. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest, brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Adam Wainwright was saying earlier today that couldn't believe the amount of Cardinal fans in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
He said it was unbelievable.
That is a place that we get good fans, especially because they stick out a little bit more in red when you're playing against a team that's black.
Here's DeYoung. I always felt like the Cardinals drew well in Miami. Well, pretty much anywhere on the road, but places that stand out. Miami, I'd say Denver. Against the Rockies.
I was always surprised a little bit by LA.
Yeah.
It wasn't massive, but it stuck. The red sticks out there.
Yeah.
A lot of Cardinal fans there. Atlanta.
That'd be another one for sure. 2-1 pitch. And the home opener this time tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Fans back at Busch Stadium. You think it's going to feel odd? I mean, we have not done a game with fans in the stands in terms of us being at the ballpark with them. We're doing these games virtually.
You want to know something? I haven't stepped foot inside the ballpark in over a year and a half.
You didn't do a home game last year, did you?
One. I didn't even go down there last year.
Wow.
Because of COVID. So basically the last game of the year before that.
A leadoff walk for Paul DeYoung. Cardinals have their second base runner in this game. It was, there's no other way to put it. It was odd.
Eerie.
Eerie, odd, in a way sad not to have the fans there. I think it's going to be emotional for a lot of people. I talk to so many fans and they'll say the one game I go to every year
opening day
is opening day, and I reconnect with a lot of friends that are scattered across the country, and we meet on opening day no matter what. Strike to Carpenter. Carpenter thus far hitless here in 2021. Had a 2 for 37 spring.
He's going to hit today, Danny. I feel it. I gave him a pep talk today.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
You could take a look at him. He's already standing at the plate differently today.
What do you see?
He's a little bit more upright, a little bit more still. a little bit more balanced. Just trying to feel his way through different things. He said today on the phone that he was just got to get something to fall. He started feeling better, but he also had some questions about, you know, what do you do when you're going through situations like this? And he's getting, I mean, and also these guys are no joke on the mound. This is, I mean, look at the pitches he's getting. He's getting 94, 95 up and in, 94 down and away, and then a nasty changeup right down the middle. Looks like a great pitch to hit, and then it just disappears. I don't care who you are. You're not getting hits off some of that stuff.
He's got to get something to fall.
Yeah, well, that's what he said, which I totally on board with.
There's a 1-2. And that's the pitch that has got him a lot. They go hard and up.
Do you know what we were talking about yesterday when you took a couple of swings when that bat started coming through the zone, all of a sudden you could see him lean back a little bit to get extension. And then when the ball was close enough to put in play, he was just pulling them literally nothing to go for. And now he looks a little bit more balanced, and that pitch that he just took right there, his body everything stayed intact. And that's what he needs.
2-2, rolls over it, and they'll get the lead man, throw back to first, and not in time. So hits it into the shift.
And that's okay right there. That's a tough at bat. He stayed with it. He looked different. He tried something different today. To be seen.
Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards. It's all at the MLB app. Here's Yadi Molina. Now he has driven in at least one run in 4 of the 5 games so far. 5 runs batted in. So the runner at first is Matt Carpenter, and the first pitch taken for a strike. Looked like Yadi was taken all the way.
Yeah. You know, the thing about Carp struggling too is you start to have a good at bat. You take a pitch on the inside corner that's off the plate and you get called to strike.
It tailed back in, jammed him, popped up on the infield. John Birdie.
I was saying you have a good at bat, you start to feel good. You take a good swing, you get a tough pitch, and then you ground out. And either two things happen, and you say to yourself, "Oh, here we go again," or "I think I might have found something."
Yeah, sometimes it clicks. But I'll go back to the original point. He needs, I don't care what it is, a bleeder, a bunt, something.
He needs that base hit that DeYoung got in Cincinnati, driving that run. The jam shot that didn't barely get past the mound.
Looks like a
broke his fingers.
A screamer in the scorecard.
That was a line drive and an RBI. Nice job. Nice swing.
There's Tyler O'Neill. They sent the invoice to him for that camera last night.
I hope someone pays for it. Jeez. Don't tell him how much it was.
Here's what happened last night. If you missed it, fouled back, bam.
Your $40,000 and $40,025 foul ball.
And a lot of broken glass. I'm assuming that is a new camera, and it is. The 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Take a look at this changeup right here, Danny.
It's a good one. It is a good one. That's his money pitch. Gets his first strikeout. O'Neill strikes out, and we're midway through 2. Little video on the phone. That's how you got to keep people occupied sometimes in a baseball game. Giggling. Love it. It's a great shot. We're in the bottom of the 2nd, and there's no score. Jazz Chisholm leads it off. And ball 1. Flaherty with 25 pitches in that first inning. 2-0. Adam Wainwright will make the start tomorrow in the Cardinals home opener at Busch Stadium. Little check swing, 2 balls and a strike. It'll be his 6th career home opener. 2009, 10, did it in 12, 15, 18, and 21. That'll tie Bob Gibson for most in franchise history. That's pulled down the right field line, but foul. And I'm sure you feel the same way. I think the Cardinals and our fans come to the ballpark with a heavy heart. You know, you go to opening day in St. Louis, the Red Jackets, and you always think about Lou and Bob.
You know, I think, on a lighter note, and not trying to make light of it, but I think it actually, the way that things are playing out, it might be a lot easier on a lot of people not going through the normal ceremonies and not seeing those guys being on the field. I've been thinking about this, and it would have been tough to be in that parade and be standing there, and you clearly know that they're missing, and you know something's gonna be said, and then they're gonna put it on the board, and then everyone's gonna go,
yeah.
And that was gonna be something that I wasn't looking forward to, but hoping that maybe just a different situation tomorrow might just not be as tough on everyone.
So Bob, when he passed away, it was the final game of the playoffs last year for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals on the left sleeve of the uniform with the patch of number 45. They wore number 20 last year, the passing of Lou Brock. I think about Jack Flaherty tomorrow and his emotions thinking about Bob Gibson, as those two had a lot of conversations and met on an opening day, and Bob said, I want to talk to that young man. Made it a point to go talk to him, and that's how their friendship began.
That would make me nervous.
Bob was the best.
Told you what he said to me that time when I was struggling, when I asked him if he would sign a bobblehead for me, and I said, Mr. Gibson, would you sign this bobblehead? I'd appreciate it. He looked me dead in the eye and said, well, I'd appreciate it if you start getting some hits. I didn't know whether to say laugh, turn around and run away, or what. I was like, okay, never mind then. I'll talk to you later.
And I bet he signed it.
Yeah, of course. He was sitting right there in Tony's office, and so now I had both of them looking at me.
Tony's probably thankful that he said it.
Probably laughing at me.
Yep. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Jack kind of going back to what you were talking about here. Here you go. Fastballs.
Hey, you got to do it once in a while. I don't even care if it's the bottom of the order or top of the order or whatever. There's going to be a time in a bat where the hitter's going to have to try or either sell out for the slider or think about the slider or worry about the slider. And that's why you see them swinging late at a fastball, but that's why you see them able to take that slider. They know it's coming eventually. And so you're telling yourself, if I see anything weird, I'm going to slow down and take it if it's a ball.
The 2-2. Fastball, and he struck him out.
Right there. You just have to keep throwing those fastballs. I mean, when he's good, he's around the zone all day long. Right today, his control's not great, but you still got to go after it.
So a pair of strikeouts to start the bottom of the second.
And he's thinking slider right there. You know, ball's inside. He knows that if it's middle away, he can kind of foul something off, but you can't do anything with that.
Jimmy, you've been in those hitting meetings, whether as a coach, pseudo coach, or as a player, and you know the Marlins are saying, okay, here's the scouting report on Jack Flaherty. Be ready for that slider. It's as good as anybody's in the game. Yeah, it's in the back of your mind.
And you know what you're telling, you know what you're also saying? A lot of fastballs away, occasionally inside. Don't worry about it. Sliders and fastballs away. Good sliders. Don't worry about the changeup. Don't worry about the breaking ball. So as soon as you start firing fastballs inside, the whole bench goes, whoa, wait a second. Said he wasn't going to do that.
And the check swing got him. Strikes out the side here in the second inning. Much different second inning for Jack Flaherty. And there's no score.
No score as we move to the third in Florida. Nolan Arenado is one of the most dangerous hitters in all of baseball. Last night, it was his 7-pitch walk that might have been the difference in the ball game. It came in the 6th, it loaded the bases, seemed to rattle Sandy Alcantara, who had been rolling. After the game, Arenado said, obviously, you want the big homer, but those are hard to get against guys like Alcantara. We just had good at-bats and kept the line moving. Arenado said, it was a grinder, but that's what good teams do. They find a way to win. Nolan said the little things that win ball games are very important. You can't always depend on the big home run. Dan, small ball on display last night. The little things, according to Nolan.
Yeah, you think about the base running play by Paul Goldschmidt, a little thing, but yet turned out to be a big thing for St. Louis. And a home run late by Dylan Carlson. Some insurance getting out of the bases loaded jam with nobody out by John Gant. And it all added up to a Cardinal victory as Nolan also, he himself, started a couple of double plays. Good teams do that. Dylan Carlson, couple of home runs this season. 2-1 last night from the right side of the plate. Jimmy, you talked about the adjustment of his hips, staying in and then exploding, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and the top hand really took over. Such a nice swing. What a good swing on both sides of the plate. He's just feeling a little bit on the left side. Not really getting his bat through the zone as quick as he was.
That'll be strikeout number 2 for Lopez. In steps Jack Flaherty.
You know how they do that, the thing with the baseball coming out of the pitcher's hand on TV, they make the pitch come out, and then basically like pitch tunneling, where it comes out. And
everything's out of the same spot.
And then all of a sudden they start to go in different directions. You can kind of see what it's like to hit or what the ball does. I think they need to do that for the hitter. They need to get his bat path, because if you watch every now and then, I think you'll see consistently guys that hit will really have that same consistent bat path wherever it is. But I'm kind of thinking, like the way I'm watching Dylan a little bit, is that bat path might be going up a little bit more than normal. Same thing with Carpenter when he's struggling. It's going up. And there's all kinds of reasons why, but if you knew that it was going up, you could change it faster than looking at your body, looking at your feet, watching your hips, watching your head, watching how much your shoulders turn in. If you saw that, you would be like, oh, okay, all I have to do is change the bat path back to a little bit flatter, and you'll figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And that takes away all the guesswork to what actually is going wrong to get there.
Now, pitch tunneling you hear about all the time, coming out of the same motion, same slot, out of the hand, as Flaherty swings and misses, and that's 3 strikeouts in a row now for Lopez. Lopez with 2 strikeouts in this inning. Help Cardinals Care raise funds to benefit children in our community. Purchase a 50/50 raffle ticket. Weekly raffles open every Monday through Sunday. One lucky winner takes home 50% of the pot each week. You must be in the state of Missouri at time of purchase. Cardinals.com/50/50. Strike to Tommy Edman, who singled his first time up to left field. First time through the lineup, the Cardinals with 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, and a base hit. Changeup taken outside.
It's a little scary when you're watching the game from this perspective, when you all of a sudden start to see Lopez working a little bit faster and throwing everything for strikes. Like you see, like he's just throwing first pitch changeup, first pitch slider, whatever it is. The good news is, like most guys, you throw that first pitch, get me over changeup, and they're like, oh, I can't throw that again. I got to get nastier. And then you throw it in the dirt. Then you throw a slider in the dirt. Well, now you're in trouble, because now you got yourself right into a 2-1 count.
I thought Flaherty's I thought he picked up the pace last inning.
And you know what, too? That really does help by throwing strikes. Because when you're not throwing strikes, there's no reason and no way you're not second guess yourself, or you stand back on the mound and say, why isn't the ball going where I want to? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? When you're throwing strikes, man, you get the ball, you go back on the mound and you throw it. So much to this game inside the brain. It's incredible.
On the 3-2 hit to second, and Tommy Edman is 1 for 2 today. Midway through 3, and there's no score. Coverage cam. Just outside the ballpark, the palm trees in Little Havana. Some Cardinal fans in attendance. It'll be Lopez, Dickerson, and Marte for Miami. And the first pitch taken for a ball. Flaherty struck out the side in the second inning. He has struck out 3 in this game. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that is yanked foul.
Yikes.
Be the return of Colton Wong tomorrow to St. Louis. Cardinals take on Milwaukee. Arenado with it, makes the play. Looking forward to that. Colton back in St. Louis. You know he's going to get a nice round of applause.
And like he should.
Now a 2-time Gold Glove winner. It's Wainwright, Corbin, Burns in game 1, then a rare Friday off after the opener. Saturday, Carlos Martinez, Adrian Hauser. And then on Sunday, Daniel Ponce de Leon and Brett Anderson. After that, Monday, Washington will be in St. Louis. Mike Schilt, Mike Maddox, front office have some decisions to make with the return of KK. My understanding is that he will be on the flight with the club back home to St. Louis, and then see exactly where the rotation wants to go. There's a slider that's tapped foul by Corey Dickerson, single to left, and then was picked off at second base. Cardinals all-time a .640 winning percentage in Miami. They're 64-36 on the road against the Marlins.
Wow.
They're 10 games above 500 at that ballpark. Their best winning percentage visiting ballpark is Kauffman Stadium. Interleague play, the Cardinals really good, 40-21 on the road against the Royals. Speaking of places where fans travel, Cardinal fans, that's an obvious one. 0-2 the count. I think the Royals are going to be good this year too.
I was always impressed with Chicago. As much as the rivalry is, you would think that the Cubs fans would be taking all the tickets. And the first couple years I was there, wow, the Cardinal fans really travel. It's a fun rivalry.
Get that beautiful weekend at Wrigley.
I was shocked that that many people from St. Louis or all over Southern Illinois and areas like that would be down there fighting through the blue of the Cubs.
Every game last year against the Cubs at Wrigley. No fans, but at Wrigley.
No fans. Very unique dynamic down there. These two teams get together.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
You see right there, he's throwing a couple breaking balls. He knows Dickerson's going to swing. See what Yadi did? Come on, you can do it. Get it down there. He'll swing again. And like we've been talking about all day, try to make it nastier. and it comes up way short. But at least better short than overthrowing it and having it spin down the middle.
And the 2-2. Tap foul again.
This is where I believe you have to throw. This guy's kind of like a swings at every off-speed pitch. Looks like he's trying to pull a little bit. I know he hits the fastball the other way, but this is why I want to climb the ladder and just see if you can challenge him up. And I mean up and down the middle, not up and away so he can flip at it. I'm talking about up, not in so he jumps out of the way. Just up.
Mike Schilt had an interesting comment about Yadi Molina after the game yesterday. Remember, Mike was a bench coach for Mike Matheny, now the manager, so he's seen Yadi a lot and saw him in spring training a ton in years past. And he said last night was the best game he had ever seen Yadi Molina catch. Now, didn't elaborate. My guess would be was with the bases loaded situation, maybe some of what he called, how he was calling the game, guiding guys through the innings.
We talked about that one at bat where you could see that if somebody was looking off speed and he needed to throw a fastball, and vice versa. There was another at bat where we were just like, this guy's going to hit it if he throws another breaking ball. There was a couple times that we were guessing along with him, and he did. He came through and called the right pitch and the right side of the plate too.
Yeah, the bases loaded, nobody out with Duvall, Anderson, Chisholm coming up, and John Gant got out of it. That is 4, 5, and 6 in their lineup in the third. Inside corner and the walk, and Flaherty kind of slaps back down at his leg. Wanted that call, didn't get it, and his third walk. It's a phrase that is used a lot, but a coach on the field, he really is that, isn't he, Yadi?
Yeah, I mean, really. And there's a lot of guys out there, but didn't talk about the shortstop, sometimes the center fielder, but you're literally staring at this guy the entire game, so you see more of what he's doing, and it's pretty incredible because you're not seeing this out of a lot of guys.
Did he catch you by surprise? Because I know you would look in and try to get signs and then shade one way or another, understanding the hitter, what was coming. And when you moved to St. Louis, saw him in center, did it catch you about how he was calling games, that kind of thing?
No, and I still go back to Mike Matheny. I think that guy worked harder than anyone to perfect his craft, because I think that if you look at the talent level between those two, clearly Yadi is more talented. He's got a stronger arm. So, Mike, what did he do? He worked on getting rid of the ball quicker and worked on throwing the ball on the money all the time. And he was adamant about getting the ball out of his glove and throwing the ball on the money. Well, Yadi doesn't have to do that. Yadi just has to get rid of the ball and use his arm. So those things worked. Mike studied and studied and studied, and that's something Yadi got from him. So you can kind of see this mold. Yadi kind of morphed into Mike Matheny with a better arm. He got Mike's work ethic. Everything I think Yadi gets from his own personality clearly is what you see. But I truly believe that he morphed into this person from Mike Matheny. There's no way you can sit there and watch Mike and play behind Mike and not pick up on his work ethic. Yadi's getting in shape, all that stuff. Mike did all of that. You know, he's always lifting. He was always working on with the pitchers, catching bullpens when he didn't need to, wanting to catch guys he's never seen, standing there with the pitching coach when he wasn't playing. Yadi does all that same stuff. So I'm watching him, right? Now he's telling, hey, heads up. This is maybe a chance, 3-1, back up a little bit in right field and in center field. There's no doubles. And now not only is he directing traffic on the infield, this is the second time in 2 days I've seen him give one of the outfielders a heads up on a situation where he doesn't want the ball getting over your head, because Jack probably has to throw a fastball right here. Can't walk this guy. And he knows if he throws a fastball up, and this is what I'm talking about, it's going to go to right field. So he's telling Tommy, heads up.
3-2 the count.
And that's next level. That really is next level. You don't ever see that with anyone.
Next to Marte, a check on Corey Dickerson, who walked with one out here in this third inning. See if Don Mattingly wants to start the runner on 3-2. Aguilar on deck.
And to take it to the next level, like I said, it's not just about calling pitches, and it's not just about putting yourself in the right situation, right? He just literally said, if I throw this guy a fastball, he's going to hit it in the air to right field. Threw the fastball, and he fouled it off into right field. That's what I'm talking about. That's paying attention to the game. That's knowing exactly what this guy's swing looks like against the fastball against my pitcher. And that's the kind of stuff that we talked about, that I had to learn, that I got from Mike, watching the slider, watching where he sets up, where to put myself. And it's like I said, Yadi just kind of morphed into it, and now he's doing it.
Runner goes, and a fly ball out to shallow center. Dylan Carlson with the catch. Dickerson back to the bag at first, 2 away. What's the little things? It's the game within the game. And we talked about the little things that Jim reported on with Nolan Arenado. That's why you win games.
Well, I think that so just that little stuff right there, like, let's just say, and I have I think one of the biggest compliments I ever got was from Mabes.
John Mabry.
John Mabry one day was, he told everyone that I helped him out so much that he would cut balls off that he never even would have reacted to in the outfield. And that's kind of what happens is, you don't look at this in the box score, but because Yadi tells Tommy heads up, Tommy's like, uh-oh, fastball's coming, I better back up. So now he blasts one over Tommy's head. He makes a nice running catch. Everyone thinks, wow, great job, Tommy. Tommy runs in and says, thanks, Yadi.
Right.
But no one understands that. So there was a couple times when Mabes and I were playing in the outfield, and I'm like, this guy, if he throws this breaking ball here, it's like watching this guy right here. If he throws a slider that doesn't get far enough away, he's going to probably pull it down the left field line. Why I think that is? Because I got the left center field gap, right? And now I'm going, hey, heads up, Mabes. And he pulls the ball down the left field line. Johnny's got a running start. He slides into the corner, turns around, throws the ball second base. Bang, bang, got him. And he just looks at me like, I can't believe you just told me that whole sequence was going to happen. And so Mabes looks like a hero, and he just walks in and says, I would have never made that play without Jimmy.
Yeah.
But those are the things, you know, that people don't understand, that's how a good teammate and a guy who really cares, and especially a guy that's really paying attention, can make everyone better.
2 balls and a strike on Aguilar after the first 2 pitches. Even Yadi, just a little word with the home plate umpire, not showing him up. Borderline pitches didn't go his guy's way. And Aguilar skies one into center. Dylan Carlson is under it and makes the catch. We head to the 4th, and there's no score. Cardinals and Marlins. Rolls in. The Cardinals will have Goldschmidt, Arenado, and DeYoung. 2, 3, and 4 were scoreless, and I wouldn't miss it. Nationally ranks this season. We're talking about the swing and miss percentages. 3rd lowest, 11th, and 7th with Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado.
And that's pretty impressive right there. 3 guys in your top 12. And I mean, that just adds to being able to take good pitches, putting good swings on the ball, and not trying to overdo everything.
Jammed him. And the second baseman going out, Birdie, to make the play. So Goldie 0 for 2. Here's Nolan Arenado, grounded out to third, his first time up. Cardinals have 1 hit today. That was Tommy Edman, leadoff base hit. They've drawn 1 walk. That was Paul DeYoung. 3 strikeouts. And a fastball in there for a strike. For Lopez, his parents put him with the 6-year-olds when he was in first grade and right after he just turned 5. Graduated high school in Venezuela at the age of 16. Both parents doctors, and he would spend a lot of time reading his parents' medical books when he wasn't learning other languages. He is fluent in Spanish, English, Portuguese, and Italian. Used to go to the hospital, he said, with his dad all the time. There's a base hit. Seattle Mariners had offered him a contract almost the same time that he was accepted to medical school, but he wanted to play baseball. The 9th hit of the season already for Nolan Arenado. His sister is a lawyer, brother an engineer. As DeYoung chops it slowly towards third, gloved. Anderson, nice play. It's a really good play.
Kid's something special. He needs to go into the other league, though, if he ever wants a Gold Glove.
No kidding. Good luck.
Sorry about it.
So Nolan Arenado has hit safely in all 6 games. Last Cardinal to do that, start a season or start their year with a hit in their first 6 games, is on the other side, Magneuris Sierra. He had 9 hits, and much of that was done against the Marlins. He was called up, and he was awesome as that ball gets away.
Ooh, that almost took Chad's head off.
Arenado now to third.
He is hot.
And he was crossed up.
Watch this. Oh, boy. That might just been a 4-seamer instead of a 2-seamer, and that makes all the difference in the world. Whew. Let me tell you, that kid knows a little bit about baseball. Dad, Tim Wallach, played 17 years in the big leagues. 13 of them for Montreal.
Yep.
It's incredible. I got a chance to play with him 1 year in '96 in California, but they all lived right around the corner from me growing up.
Do you know Chad at all?
I didn't. Chad was young. I mean, we go way back.
Mm-hmm. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Carpenter with a shift on the right side. Matt, first time up, grounded into a fielder's choice.
I mean, the kids were around, but Tim and I only played together for 1 year. And the age difference, obviously, from Chad and I were never around each other. But where they lived going to high school, I lived playing. You know what I'm saying? So when he was in college, I was in the big leagues already. And, I mean, his dad was amazing. He was just ultimate professional, great leader, great veteran to have on your team.
Two and two the count.
Can't really get my fingers on what is going on here with Carp. It's like everything is right there. He's just missing. It's just a tick.
And a swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's 4 for Lopez. Cardinals strand a runner. There's second of the afternoon, and there's no score. Kickoff Cardinals opening weekend. Take home a mystery Cardinals Hall of Fame parade bobblehead. It's courtesy of Ford. 10,000 fans entering with a ticket. That's April 10th and 11th. Surprised with a bobblehead featuring Stan the Man, Jack Buck, or even Tony La Russa. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Garrett Cooper. First pitch in for a strike. First time up, runners at first and second, fly to right. 0 for 1. Cooper here, then Anderson and Chisholm. 0-2.
I think that the one thing that we're missing with Jack too, watching him a little bit, he seems to be one of those guys that as he gets older, when he knows what he's doing to the next level, he's going to be able to throw you a four-seam fastball middle in for a strike, throw you the exact same pitch that's going to now run a little bit, and so you're going to chase it, and then he's going to be able to throw that pitch. And then the next guy, he's going to be able to throw a four-seam fastball in there for a strike, throw the two-seamer that runs in off the plate to get you to pull, try to pull it, and then there's that slider. And then you drop a breaking ball in, and then you go four-seam away, and then you run the two-seamer back door for a strike. It's that simple with stuff that he has. Instead of saying, okay, I threw a fastball, I don't want to throw that again, I got to throw a nice slider, or something, you know what I mean? It's just like,
oh yeah.
And then when his mechanics are a little bit off, like you talk about those one innings where it's the fifth inning the last time or fourth inning or whatever, and all
first
of a sudden,
inning today,
yeah, where he's just not on, and then you get behind a little bit, you give up a homer because you have to throw a fastball and you're aiming a little bit. Now you don't have that velocity on the fastball that you've had all game. And then you just have that one inning that you give up 2-3 runs and you lose. You know, and instead of just being like, here, hit this. Roger Clemens.
But don't you think
Roger
that's
Clemens
more
was amazing.
about trusting what you have, though, and being aggressive with that?
Roger Clemens was amazing. Yes, it is. And Roger Clemens was amazing in the fact that he really, his stuff wasn't like, I mean, I've faced guys that I thought, man, this guy's got way better stuff than Roger Clemens.
Lifted in the air to center, going back, Carlson near the wall, and he's got it.
I just don't think it's possible to hit a home run out of this ballpark the other way. But Roger Clemens is one of those guys that just throw the fastball, four-seamer on the corner for strike one, and then throw another one out there, and it's kind of close, and then he'd throw another one out there, and all of a sudden you go out there after it, it just run off the plate, and the next thing you know, you're chasing stuff, and then throw you a split that hung up there for strike one, throw you the exact same pitch that dove down harder. It didn't make it complicated. He just had command and he had confidence. I faced him back-to-back starts one time in Anaheim. We were in Boston. He threw fastball slider the entire game, 7 innings, to everyone. So I'm like, all right. And I took a couple good swings. Next time out, fastballs in, splits the whole game. Totally different game, same stuff.
What about, though, guys that save that, though, for later in a game because of situations like that? So many times now in the first inning, first batter,
blow it all out.
They're showing everything.
Well, that's what I love, you know, and you say it a lot. Love those guys, like talk about Ponce, and we talk about Lance Lynn a lot. There's other guys, just here you go, hit it until you show me you can't, right? But I think that Jack Flaherty has that. I think he just doesn't understand how good he is yet. I know he knows he's good, but I think Jack is one of those guys that thinks he needs all of his pitches to be perfect, and I don't really think he does.
No.
I really think, and I'm giving him probably as high as a compliment as you can give him. He just doesn't know how good he is, and when he figures it out, there's sliders and curveballs and stuff that you don't necessarily need all the time. He's not going to throw them.
3-1 pitch. Missed up.
See, like right there. I mean, you're talking about throwing a 3-1 slider in a 0-0 game to Chisholm, right? Well, let's look here. Let's go back really quick. 69 career at-bats. He's got 2 homers. In that ballpark, I'm underhanding him a ball for a strike. Why? Why are we throwing him a slider? So do you see kind of what I'm saying? Like, and you go backwards in the books, and you're like, okay, at this point, this is what I'm going to do. I was talking about this the other day. The old way of pitching in the ninth inning with these closers, everything away. If you're going to hit a home run off me, you're going to have to hit it the other way, and you're going to have to be perfect with it because it's hard to do. And they give you nothing to pull. Lee Smith, Troy Percival, just fastballs away. I don't care how hard you throw it, it's just going to be away, and you know it's coming, and it's nothing you can do.
Right.
Because it's hard to hit the ball out the other way for most guys.
Well, you've picked up on something that they've been talking about how the ball is not doing much in this ballpark in this series. Now, it was flying in Cincinnati, but here it's just not going anywhere.
I'm telling you right now, if you would have told me he was going to throw a fastball down the middle, Chisholm, and he was going to hit a home run, I'd quit right here.
Well, you wouldn't, but I understand your point.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's not happening. You throw him a fastball,
yeah,
BP fastball, middle away. The only thing he's going to do is hit a single or double. A lot of chances he's just going to ground out because that's the type of swing he has. You know, last thing you want to do is walk a guy with 2 outs, and now what are they doing now? Go ahead and run. We got nothing to lose, right? 2 outs. Got to get the second somehow. Chances of him scoring from first has got to get 2 hits, at least a hit, if not 2, to get him to all the way around.
So 2 outs, a runner at first. John Birdie now at the plate, struck out on a fastball when Flaherty struck out the side back in inning number 2.
And I'm good for a while. That gave me a headache thinking about all those different scenarios. That's why I used to come off the field after a game and be like, whew, I got to lay down for a minute. I'm staring at these signs too long. Taking a break.
So runner at first and 2 down, 1 ball, no strikes. Cardinals in the 5th inning will have Yadi, Tyler O'Neill, and Dylan Carlson. Nice play by Flaherty, flips it over to Goldschmidt for the out. Marlins strand a runner. They've left 4 on. We head to the 5th. A scoreless game. Fox Sports and Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. Jimmy, it caught me. After 20,
it got me too.
3 years.
I heard it and I went,
years.
what?
First time I've done it.
That's awesome.
Bally Sports Midwest.
I can't believe you caught yourself so fast.
I can't believe it's taken me this long to do that.
5 games.
I'm very proud that I hadn't done that
Made
yet.
it 5 games.
I'm actually shocked that I hadn't done it earlier.
Stay classy, San Diego. I'll read whatever you put on the paper.
It had Bally Sports on the paper. Oh,
well, I
man.
was doing the pre and post the other day, and Scotty Warman he wrote on his iPad. You know how you can go to your notes?
Yes.
And he put his iPad in front of him, and he wrote on his iPad and left it on and said Bally Sports, so he wouldn't forget. I told Erica, and so she put it on the camera in front of her so no one would forget. I was like, I'm glad I don't have to say it.
I had a piece of paper out the first couple of games, and then I thought, all right, yeah, I got it. No big deal.
We are so lucky to be able to work for Bally Sports now.
Yes, we are. Molina flies to right. So to all the people that sign our checks, I apologize.
You
it's
know
Bally
what?
Sports.
You know what I tell everyone, and I tell everyone that you're not human, but you just proved me wrong. So
O'Neill hits it out to left for out number 2.
Like you're a machine when it comes to this stuff, and well, you are human.
It happens. 2 quick outs, and now it's Dylan Carlson.
Tell you what, that pitch right there that O'Neill just missed was the ball he hit a mile in Cincinnati.
By the way, did you see my eyes when I said it to you? Oh no.
I was looking the other direction. I went and I heard it. I don't know why I even bothered with it, but it just caught me off guard.
Oh, it happens. Here's Dylan Carlson. He was really frustrated after his last at bat. Shaking his head and
I think he's leaning.
Frustration.
He's leaning back too. He's another guy out there right now who's just a tad bit late with every swing on the left side of the plate.
A ball and a strike.
That's interesting right there because he put down 3 for a signal.
Notice that.
And was that a fastball?
I thought it was.
I mean,
yeah.
I was wondering if it was just a 2-seamer versus a 4-seamer, but definitely wasn't a slider.
Slowly hit to first, and a quick inning for Pablo Lopez as Carlson is retired. Wallach, Lopez, Dickerson coming up, and there's no score.
Still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 5th in Miami. Second straight start at second base for Matt Carpenter. He's 0 for 2 so far. Mike Shildt was asked about it before the game. He said he liked the matchup today for Carpenter. Shildt said, I really like Carp's at-bats last night, driving the ball the other way, which is a great indicator. Didn't get rewarded, but he did also have a walk. Shildt was also asked if we might see more of Carp at second base. He said, I can't rule it out. If Carp is in a good spot and he does what he's capable of doing, we can't ignore that. Dan Carp getting an opportunity, trying somehow to break through.
And today, Jimmy, hitless in a couple of plate appearances with a strikeout. Not a lot of hitting overall in this game. Marlins with 1 base hit. That was Corey Dickerson to start the game. And the Cardinals with 2. They have a single from Tommy Edman, single by Arenado, and that has been it. It's Wallach, Lopez, Dickerson. Pitch count at 77 now for Jack Flaherty. Good fastball. And it's 0-2. Wallach struck out back in inning number 2.
Think about if you go back and look at Jack's outing just today, because it's fresh. 79 pitches. How many pitches do you think he wasted? Now, I'm not going to say wasted, and I'm not picking on him. How many pitches do you think he threw for balls that he probably didn't need to?
10, 15,
I mean,
that range?
He bounced 2 or 3 or 4 sliders.
Yeah.
As Chris Carpenter would call them, non-competitive pitches.
Right. And the 2-2 pitch. So he's gone from 0-2 to 3-2 here.
And that's what I'm talking about. Fastball up, good pitch, check swing because he can't catch up. Spots his fastball away, and then all of a sudden it's got to be perfect. And you don't have to be perfect with his stuff. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. Just challenge. And that's what I think the Chris Carpenter thing, the amount of respect that you have to have for that man. And when you talk to him, and he basically is like, why am I going to do that? He can't catch up to this, or he can't hit this. I'm just going to throw it until he either swings and misses or goes back to the dugout. Like, there's no messing around. And then he knew when the guy his matchup was going to be tough, then he knew how to get to that point where he's going to in, out, up, down, whatever. But for the majority of the time, man, I'm throwing strikes until you show me you can hit. Just threw a first pitch breaking ball to the pitcher. And I don't, and it's not all Jack. It's Yadi, but it's his personality. It's his way he pitches. So Yadi's going to cater to that. And maybe this guy can swing the bat, but make a good pitch and take your chances.
1 ball, 1 strike on Lopez. Grounded out to third, and he's 0 for 1.
You know, a lot of these guys, I think to be honest with you, facing Zach Greinke when he was young, he was that similar guy, man. He was like, first pitch fastball strike, slider in the dirt, changeup in the dirt, curveball in the dirt. And I'm sitting there going, man, this guy's got awesome stuff. But I'm sitting here 3-1 and heads up, and boom, homer. Yep. I remember facing him. And then my next at bat, changeup in the dirt, slider down and in. And now I'm sitting there 2-0. And I'm like, what is this kid doing? He's got great stuff. He's throwing 96, but yet he's behind every time.
And a swing and a miss. It was strikeout number 6 for Flaherty. And Jack is our BJC Healthcare difference maker so far today. 1 hit allowed, 4 walks to go along with now 6 strikeouts.
Look at those fastballs.
It's been 3 strikeouts on the fastball, 3 on the slider.
I mean, he's got incredible stuff.
So 2 outs. Here's Dickerson in the home half of the 5th. 1 for 1 with a walk. Was picked off at second base. That's been the best opportunity for the Marlins. If you just joined us, Marlins got a leadoff base hit, then Marte walked, and they had runners at first and second with Aguilar up, and Jack Flaherty picked off Dickerson at second base.
Well, and he didn't pick him off with anything special. He just gave him a little leg kick spin move, and he just wasn't paying attention at second base.
Can't happen.
There wasn't even anyone covering.
Nope. It was just a kind of a show me. Look
like
back
I said, that's one of those things where you throw over to first base to see if a guy's bunting. Well, he just turned around just to see if they were going to run, maybe get a reaction out of the guy at first base, and Corey Dickerson just got caught not paying attention.
Two and one the count. Pitch number 90 from the Cardinal right-hander today. Two and two with 2 outs and nobody on. Flaherty is due up first for the Cardinals, looking ahead to the 6th inning. And you figure if he hits, then he goes over 100 pitches in this game. Nobody getting loose in the Cardinal pen. It's not to say that wouldn't change, but we'll see. 2-2. Lifted in the air to Dylan Carlson. And Jack enjoys a 1-2-3. We head to the 6th, and we're scoreless. The home opener is tomorrow, and the Clydesdales are back. And notice that our coverage begins at 1:30 tomorrow. 1:30 pregame show. Budweiser, What's on Tap. At 2:30 is the coverage of the pregame festivities. 3:15 with the first pitch. Cardinals live after the game. Hey, that's you.
Hey.
You guys don't get to take those coats home, do you?
No. Somebody else, one of my friends was asking me this. And I believe there was a certain someone who might have forgot to bring it one time.
Uh-oh.
Maybe a little bit older than me.
Okay.
And so they now keep them at the stadium. I don't remember who it was, but somebody out there knows who I'm talking about.
Lopez has been really good. It's only 68 pitches, and we're in the 6th inning. 0-2 on Jack Flaherty. He has struck out 4 and allowed 2 base hits. Jack broke his bat, slowly hit to short, and the out. From Gibby to Goldie to Nato to Waino, Cardinals Magazine brings you the stories you haven't heard about your favorite Cardinals, behind the scenes photos. 345-9000 to get a subscription. 345-9000. Visit cardinals.com/magazine.
I keep thinking about that thing about Gibby and the mound, and it's like the more I think about it.
You mean that they lowered the mound?
Yeah, the more I
had the 1.12 and 68.
Yeah, the more I'm trying to figure out, has there ever been a player in any history of any sport that has changed the game by himself? By himself. So we know what kind of guy he was. We know what kind of person he was, what kind of pitcher he was. He was a hero to everyone around here. But do we really realize what that means?
Changing the game, and a vital part of the game. Yeah.
On his own.
1.12 ERA, 1968.
I mean, they almost had to change the mound after the second half with Jack, but
that's a foul ball. I've heard some people, because of the velocity in the sport, and it has been tested in lower levels, of moving the mound back.
I was hoping you weren't going to say that.
I'm not saying I'm saying it. I'm just saying that that has been talked about.
I'm curious too, but I've also been told that now the radar guns are reading the ball out of the hand much more than they used to be reading the ball midway or at the plate. Right. Because I was looking at something the other day.
Good changeup, strikeout, and that's number 5.
That's a really good changeup right there. I was looking at something the other day, and it basically said the release velocity, let's say, is at 94, And by the time it gets to home plate, it's only 85 miles an hour. And I'm wondering, not to take anything away from these young kids, and I know they're throwing harder than they used to when I was playing, but are they reading the ball in a different spot? And like other things, making it look a little bit more appetizing to watch.
Well, you didn't have the split finger, which is something that you had to deal with that others in the past did not.
Everyone let you know when it was coming.
But you could read guys. That's one of the things you were able to do, is read grips, tendencies. As Goldschmidt hits it to short. Not many do. Not many do. 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals.
I want to get back to that too, because I got something about Nolan Ryan.
Retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals in Miami wrapping up their road trip. They'll be back home at Busch Stadium tomorrow for the home opener. Marte, Aguilar, Cooper. So I want to remind you, you want to talk about Nolan Ryan. Well, the floor is yours.
Well, what I was saying is I watched a show at one point, and Al Roboski just sent me a text message too.
A couple of hops hit to second.
And said that the old guns used to read the pitches as they cross the plate or near it, and now the new guns are getting closer to the hand, which he said is probably at least 4 miles an hour different. Well, I'm looking at stats right here on my iPad that it's almost 10 miles an hour. But they said that Nolan Ryan back in the day was throwing 100 miles an hour, and they were legitimately reading the ball crossing the plate. So they're saying now when he threw his fastest pitch at 101.8, I think it was, or 0.6 or 0.4.
Be like 105.
They were saying his fastball should have been clocked, and they're doing the mathematics on this more than they're just talking baseball, saying that the ball would be above 105, almost 106 to 107. Now, whether that's correct, but that's just all about mathematics and the velocity and the distance traveled, and they're saying how it was different back then compared to now. So I don't know. I just find it very interesting because, and I also don't know, now that I'm looking at this thing on the baseball app and it's saying the release velocity versus the home plate velocity. I don't know how they can do that at one time. I don't know. So it's a lot higher over my head than I thought it would be.
There's a slider down low. You're talking yourself into circles.
Wow.
But here's the thing.
But like you said, and I love that, my favorite thing is
watch the hitters.
The hitters will let you know.
They will let you know. The 2-1 pitch. There's Paul DeYoung, and there is the tag applied by Goldschmidt for out number 2.
But I always thought playing that when I was sitting in the dugout and the guy throws the first couple pitches, and this was more or less at Wrigley a lot, they flash up there on the board 94, right? I'm like, all right, I'll be all right today. And then you get a guy like Mark Pryor, and you get up there and you're like, whoa, that's not 94. But the ball was sneaky jumping out of his hand. Then you see up there 101, and I'm standing on deck, and it doesn't look as hard. And then Albert's launching Kyle Farnsworth on the roofs across the street like it's no big deal.
So did Taguchi.
I'm just like, wait a second. But some they just look different coming out of the hand.
But isn't that picking
I never
up
thought
the ball,
101 of Kyle Farnsworth, the velocity looked like it was ridiculously hard.
Isn't it picking it up though too?
Yeah.
Guys are hiding it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Mark Pryor's fastball just jumped out of his hand, and that's why he's had elbow trouble, because he hit the ball so long like Anthony Reyes, so they were just all elbow coming first, and eventually they get hurt. But Mark Pryor was amazing when he came up.
Jack Flaherty at the century mark now in pitches. He has allowed 1 hit. Cooper is flied to right. He is struck out. Flaherty trying to pick up strikeout number 7. In the air to right, there is Tommy Edman, makes the play, and Flaherty through 6. Arenado, DeYoung, Carpenter coming up. Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by BJC, the world's best medicine made better. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Gateway Honda home run inning. $1,000 donation will be made to the Make-A-Wish Foundation by your Gateway Honda dealers if a Cardinal hits a home run this inning.
I'd like to maybe go out on a limb and say I'd split a $1,000 donation for a home run right now with you. 500 apiece.
Yeah, I'm good. I think the Gateway Honda dealers have it.
They got it under control. You don't want to give your whole day's salary away at one time.
But I'll take the home run.
You get paid?
Here's a 1-1. Catches the bottom of the zone. Boy, Lopez has been good in this game. Cardinals have 2 hits. Cabrera getting loose in the bullpen for St. Louis. Marlins with just 1 hit.
Talking about 80 pitches here in the 7th with 5 strikeouts and only 1 walk and 2 hits, and he's just short of being dominant almost. This guy's got no hit stuff, by the way. I'm going to go out on a limb and give you that if he stays healthy and throws every 5th day, that he's going to have one at some point, and not far in the far future.
You know what he looks like? Jeff Suppan. I'm not saying he pitches.
Same velocity too.
No, I'm not saying he pitches like
Jeff. Yeah, kind of
Jeff.
does right there.
But, you know, they got the facial hair.
Yeah. When his hat, when he's not looking at you.
Got a little bit of that soup look. As Arenado falls on his backside. You made me think about who has single-handedly changed their sport.
Wasn't it?
It is Masters Week, so I thought about Tiger Woods.
Well, yeah, but they didn't start making the hole smaller.
But Tiger-proofed courses.
Oh, for sure.
So
would you say the other one might? I don't think he did it, but this would be my only other guess. Wilt Chamberlain.
That was my other one.
But I don't understand. I don't know what he did to change the game.
You could also make a case with like moving back the 3-point line. Now that doesn't relate to Wilt Chamberlain, but moving back the 3-point line.
How about just watching an old game and they didn't have a 3-point line? It looks so weird.
It is.
It looks like they're playing on like Olympic ice versus like regular ice. It's like a much bigger.
So Arenado is strikeout number 6. Here's Paul DeYoung. It might just take one long ball from either side and this game is over. We'll see.
I think a guy like Paulie here, he's been looking for that sinker in and he's been chasing it. I think you got to get back out over the plate and take that pitch inside. Like those pitches you can't do anything with. I think that playing with Eduardo Perez, he taught me so much about how, and he was the one, Danny, that really got me to start believing on it's not about what you can hit, it's about what you take. And that's a perfect example. And because he always used to have to face the toughest lefty, right? And a lot of those lefties back in those days were like the lighters and guys like that made a living off you chasing pitches inside to lefty to a righty. And so he said, I have to look out over the plate, and you got to be stubborn with it.
1-2, he's fouled back. We had Lou Alcindor. They outlawed the dunk at one point. Later, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Here's a 1-2. 2-2.
I mean, I got to figure that they were thinking about lowering the mound before that came around, or did they just be like, okay, we can't have Bob taking over all the time?
I asked Bob about it one time, and I said, you know, you changed the game, and he said, you can look at that, and a lot of people look at my 1.12 as the reason why they did it. But he said what often gets forgotten is 1968 was the year of the pitcher. It wasn't just me. He said, you know, there were a lot of really good pitchers. Denny McClain won 31 games that year. And DeYoung hits a high fly ball out to left, and the catch is made on the track.
I'm wondering if that was like the era that they, you know, there's been an area, we'll talk about more about this in a second, where all of a sudden you're noticing guys throw harder. So I'm wondering if that late 60s was like all of a sudden they started getting a little bit bigger, stronger, because like you said, the year of the pitcher, they just don't come out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden everyone's having a good year.
Yeah.
So that's been building up. But just like today, you turn on the TV and like that right about when I retired, about 4 years later, everyone's throwing 100. Where did that come from?
Carpenter is grounded into a fielder's choice and struck out. 0 for 2. Outside and high. Genesis Cabrera will have the 7th inning for the Cardinals with Brian Anderson, Chisholm, and Birdie coming up.
He looks a little bit more calm at the plate tonight. That doesn't always mean he's going to get hits right away, but I think it's a step in the right direction. But you also remember that the guy he's facing is nasty.
3-1. Corbin Burns goes tomorrow. Wainwright for St. Louis. And the next to Carpenter. Takes a pitch up. And the Cardinals have their first base runner since back in the 4th. Quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Lots of new little firsts to keep up with means less time for banking. Good thing you can check your balance with a text and get back to all of life's little firsts with Great Southern Text Banking.
Molina's popped out to second, fly to right. Cardinals with 2 hits. They have struck out 6 times against Pablo Lopez. On the other side, Jack Flaherty threw 6 strikeouts. Pitch count got up though because of 4 walks. Went into some deep counts but pitched well. Mel Stottlemyre Jr. out to visit. Todd Stottlemyre has become an author living in Arizona and a public speaker. Pitched for the Cardinals in the 1990s. We saw Dylan Floro pitch last night, and he's getting loose currently for Miami. Pitched in the 7th inning of last night's game. Oh for 2 today. Yadi Molina. Runner at first is Carpenter. And a grounder foul.
Look how deep the outfield is playing. No doubles for sure. I don't know if anyone can hit the ball over their head regardless in this ballpark. This is making me not want to ever go to Miami to play. I'll tell you that. If I somehow hit the fountain of youth.
Yeah, you can enjoy yourself before and after the game.
Yeah, no thanks. It's too hot, humid.
And Molina hits it out to deep left at the wall. Gone! Yadi strikes in the 7th. 2-0 Cardinals. Molina's first of 2021. And what a time to get it.
I mean, if you're going to hit a home run, you got to pull it. But wow, he clobbered that ball. That went a lot further than I thought it was going to go, considering the way the ball has been traveling there. But that is good timing right there. And, you know, some people might have thought maybe you should run for Carpenter right here. But with 2 outs, not really ready for that. Maybe if he gets to second base, and Yadi just took that out of everyone's thought process. And you're lucky you didn't have to put up the $500. I've had you.
$1,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, donated by your Gateway Honda dealers. And thanks to Yadier Molina. His first of the season. He's now driven in 7 on the trip, off to a very good start, and the Cardinals have a 2-0 lead. Three in this game, and he strikes with 2 outs here in the 7th. Lopez left a pitch up, and Yadi hammered it. His first home run of 2021. And the Cardinals now a 2-run lead, and Lopez pitched magnificent baseball in this game, and that is hit a long way. And he's got to be kicking himself with the walk to Carpenter. So Don Mattingly goes to his bullpen, and Floro.
What do you think about these moves? Now we'll go back to the three-hitter minimum. So you got a guy up. It's a tie game, so you've got your best reliever warming up, right? You figure he's going to get Yadi out, or he's going to walk him, give up a base hit, so you might have set first and third. And then a 2-run homer, and as the manager, you go, oh, wait a second, I don't want to now bring this guy in, but he's the only guy hot.
So he can clean up the inning and then go somewhere else.
But just in general, like,
yeah, I'm not a big fan.
All of a sudden, you're like, and then that's, I think, a lot of times why managers will get 2 guys up at the same time. For a lot of you that are wondering that, sometimes it's not just to face this guy or that guy. It's
down the lineup.
Do we stay tied, or do we take the lead, or do we stay tied, or do we fall behind?
Well, he's got to be kicking himself, as I mentioned, with the walk to Carpenter. Matt has been struggling. Got to get him in that spot. He didn't. Cardinals make him pay. As O'Neill fouls it back. He is lined out and struck out back in the 2nd. So Lopez 6 2/3, 2 runs on 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. Out in front against that changeup.
I mean, his hands are lightning. I can't help but think that when you watch a lot of guys hit and you hear a lot about hitting, and you hear the same thing all the time about a load and consistent load and balance, right? Tyler O'Neill has 0 load. He has nothing going for him pre-pitch, and he gets his hands to the ball and through the zone faster than anyone I've ever seen.
And he swings through that, strikes out, couple in the inning, but the Cardinals strike with a 2-run homer. Yadi Molina still doing it in 2021. It's 2-0.
2-run shot from that guy, and the Cardinals lead it 2-0. You're not supposed to look ahead, but safe to say some of the Cardinals are looking forward to tomorrow's home opener. Dylan Carlson had a huge smile on his face when he was asked about the home opener on the pregame Zoom today. Dylan said, it's definitely something I've thought about. I'm excited to get in front of the city of St. Louis and play. Carlson said, I've heard from a lot of guys, it's nothing like you've ever been a part of before. I really can't wait to experience that for myself. And Danny, I'm with Dylan. Nothing like the Cardinals home opener. Nothing.
Like it. You got Dylan Carlson, you got Justin Williams, Tommy Edman, few others that'll be experiencing their first Cardinals home opener. Chevy called to the pen, and Genesis Cabrera. You have Anderson, Chisholm, and Birdie. Go ahead and assume that Alex Reyes is not available today. Gallegos, same. And that's hit out to center. Carlson back and makes the catch up against the wall.
And now you got Brian Anderson wondering if you can hit a ball out of here to center or in the gaps, because that ball is crushed.
He's even smiling going back to the dugout a bit. Can't hit a ball much harder.
No, good job by Dylan opening up and getting back. Didn't have to go very far to the wall, but did a nice job. Just catch it and hang on to it.
Again, like, you got to be kidding me.
I think he thought he might have got one, and when you see that, you're like, oh, I got to hit it farther than that.
It's the second time that he's done that to center field.
Been there, done that all too many times.
Here's Chisholm, who is struck out and also walked. So we were talking about it yesterday. What direction would the Cardinals go if they had a lead late in the game? Would it be Jordan Hicks that gets an opportunity to come in a closing situation? Andrew Miller would be another one. And right now you got Cabrera. And depending on how the inning goes, you could also extend Cabrera for just beyond the one inning.
Well, you'd like to see him get through this inning quickly. And if his pitch count is down, yeah.
Slapped foul. Now it's time for the Home Depot getting more done. The Cardinals bullpen now at 9 1/3 with that flyout in this series. 5 hits, 1 run, couple of saves, 9 strikeouts to 3 walks. This will be a bright spot for the Cardinals more than likely this season. Another fly ball lifted out to left center. Carlson is there to make the catch.
Tell you what, let him hit it.
2021 Cardinals Hall of Fame ballot presented by Edward Jones. Live now through April 17th. Cast your vote for your top 2 deserving players from another great field of candidates. And you can visit cardinals.com/HOF. John Birdie is 0 for 2. Jordan Hicks stretching in the Cardinal pen. We should mention that Justin Williams took over in right field, so Tommy Edman coming in to play second base. Carpenter out of the game. St. Louis will have Carlson, Williams, Edman coming up. And the 0-1. Ground ball. Tommy Edman. And a 1-2-3 for Cabrera. 9-pitch inning. We head to the 8th. 2-0 Cardinals. April 12th, 13th, 14th, Cardinals host Washington next week. Take home an adult puffy vest courtesy of Bayer. Add that to your Cardinals fashion, a must-have promo, and tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Simber is into the ballgame. He pitched in game 1 in the 8th inning of that contest. Went 1 inning, gave up a hit, struck out 1, and no runs allowed. Adam Simber. Chevy called to the pen. Third pitcher used by Don Mattingly as Floro got the final out. Strikeout of Tyler O'Neill to end the 7th. Dylan Carlson, Justin Williams, and Tommy Edman for St. Louis. 2-0 on a 2-run homer hit by Yadi Molina. Hit the other way. Couple of hops to short. And Carlson the first out. Dylan 0 for 3 today. And now Justin Williams looking for his first hit of the year. We got the starts in Cincinnati. When hitless in those games, he's been a pinch hitter, used a couple of times in this series. And we'll see what Mike Schilt wants to do tomorrow with that starting lineup. Oh, 1 pitch. Nothing in 2. Fights it off. Little flare out to center and racing in to make the catch. Starling Marte. 2 quick outs, and the batter will be Tommy Edman. There has not been a lot of offense either side in this series, but the pitching's been awfully good. The Cardinals with a total of 3 hits.
There'll be a lot of offense if you move the fences in about 20 feet.
Yeah. Well, they did move them in.
Something. I don't know
where it was
what's going on
when they opened up the ballpark. Tommy Edman is homered in this series. And a ground ball base hit. His second hit of the afternoon. Used to be 418 to center field.
It's playing like that right now.
Well, the talk around baseball was deadening the balls. And maybe that's taken effect.
No. Well, maybe they deadened them here in Miami, but they didn't deaden them in Cincinnati.
No, they didn't.
You know, it's the other thing too is that that park is so big and there's no one there, and it's kind of echoing, and so it almost sounds like maybe some of those balls are making more noise than they are being hit, and that can throw you off a little bit too.
So it's loud.
I guess if that's how you want to take it.
Heard that in spring training a little bit too.
Because I'll tell you what.
Well, you'll hear the mitt pop too.
Yeah, but that's the thing that we don't get to see now is you can just walk by the batting cage and you can tell if the balls are live or not just by the sound off the bat, even in spring training. So something you and I haven't seen in a while.
Edman running in a stolen base, his second in the series.
There's nothing that Chad Wallach can do about that. This guy's got to be like a 1-6 to the plate. And if you want to throw anybody out, you got to be under 1-3. And he is about 1-6, 1-6-3.
He was 1-6-3.
That was just 1-6 was just that up here.
You got it. You've seen enough baseball, I guess, Jimmy.
Still got it.
Off the plate, 2-1. Paul Goldschmidt grounded into a double play in the first inning. Popped out to second, grounded out to short, 0 for 3. Redbirds trying to add a little insurance here in the top of the 8th, leading 2-0. You can see there, real big gap in left center. They shade Goldschmidt the other way.
And that's by design, obviously. He has hit everything in the air towards right field. I think the only thing you have to be careful with him is the left fielder's probably straight because he'll pull the ball down the line, but a lot of the times just on the ground. So you just got to be able to get over there and cut it off. But I don't worry about that too much as a left fielder because with his speed and it being in left field, I'm not really worried about the triple. So, and he's moved over a little bit into the gap, so you can go ahead and shade him all the way around into right field and right center field.
That is ripped for a base hit into left field. Tommy Edman will score, and Goldschmidt makes it a 3-0 Cardinals lead.
And these guys can hit.
Second run batted in for Paul Goldschmidt this year.
Looked like just a 2-seamer. They really didn't run too much for him.
This turning into a 2-out 8th inning rally for the Cardinals. The base hit by Edman, stolen base, single by Goldschmidt, pick up a run.
Well, that's how quickly it can happen, right? With speed and a guy at the top that gives you good at bats. I mean, it's as simple as that, Danny. You don't need 3 guys. You need 2. You need a guy that can get on and run, and then you need a guy behind him that can hit.
We've seen in the past guys that have really good on base percentages draw a lot of walks, but if they get it first, it takes 3 hits to bring them in.
Yeah. It's not the way to go at the top of the lineup. That'd be like if Yadi was leading off.
A 1 pitch to Nolan Arenado. It's a high fly ball. Tailing over to the right fielder, Gary Cooper, to make the catch. Goldschmidt, 2-out single, brings in Tommy Edman, and it's 3-0. Been well pitched, really, on both sides. Couple of mistakes by the Marlins, and Yadi Molina on one of those made him pay. Our Budweiser play of the game, his 2-run homer. Cardinals added a insurance run. It's now 3-0 St. Louis. Second inning of work for Genesis Cabrera. It's a busy night of sports as we'll have the Blues on Bally Sports. John Kelly and Darren Pang. Blues trying to get back on the winning track. Just heard from one of our very good buddies and longtime head athletic trainer for the Blues for the last 26 years. Ray Barilli, who recently this season worked his 2000th NHL game earlier this year in Los Angeles. Just the 8th trainer in the history of the NHL to accomplish that feat. And there's a strikeout for Genesis Cabrera. So congratulations, Ray, and good luck to the Blues. Ray, one of the real good people.
One of the greatest people.
That's a lot of hockey games.
That is a lot of hockey games. He's been around since before I got here, and that was 21 years ago.
It's a lot of broken teeth, fixing cuts,
a lot
injuries.
Of giving tickets away to baseball players.
Yeah. So congratulations, Ray Barilli. They're watching the game right now, Enterprise Center, and checking out the Cardinals.
Broken teeth or knocked out teeth?
Both. Finding teeth when they're on the ice. This is Lewis Brinson, the pinch hitter now for the Marlins. Cabrera looks really good. It's 4 up and 4 down. And he's done that with 14 pitches and counting here. Little bouncer and a foul ball.
I feel like we saw this guy in spring training.
Lewis Brinson?
Yeah, I mean, he took some pretty good swings. He was the first-round pick for the Texas Rangers, and that's why I remember seeing this. Not to mention that he's one of those guys you can't forget at 6'5", 200 and probably 20 pounds, 15 pounds. Just 26 years old.
And a strikeout here. He was in the trade with Christian Yelich too. And there's high expectations for Brinson. Grew up in South Florida. Grew up a Marlins fan. He idolized Juan Pierre. So, you know, people have a soft spot for him because they want to see him have success. Grew up
right there in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, the franchise is now old enough to where he grew up, and that was his team. And it just has not clicked yet.
Well, he's born in Fort Lauderdale. My bad. Grew up and went to Coral Springs High School, which is even closer down there, right?
And that pitch fouled away. Corey Dickerson. I mean, that's tough. He was traded for Yelich, and Yelich then the next year becomes the MVP. And if you're a fan of the Marlins, you're saying, okay, what do we get back?
Well, I mean, that's not fair.
Not to him.
Not to anyone. Who would have known?
But that's
But
sports.
by the way, you just took a guy. Now, I don't know the exact year, and I should, but I'm just going to go with regardless. He went from hitting here to hitting in Milwaukee. I mean, that's going to give you 10, 15 homers right there.
And so with Yelich's swing, no wonder he took off the way he did. And then you throw him in a good fan base with a good team. Crazier things have happened.
In the 0-2 pitch, trying to strike out the side, and it's 1-2.
In 5 years with the Marlins, Yelich at 59 home runs. 4 years with the Brewers, 92.
O'Neill almost came up with it. Great effort and a ground rule double.
I thought he was going to catch that. He was right there. And you know what you get for that when you miss that as an outfielder?
A dirty uniform?
Well, and you also get a nasty dirt burn that is going to require a burn patch for the ride home. It does not feel good. He just misses this ball too.
I mean, he just
I thought he was going to catch it the whole way.
Oh man.
You know what it did? It curled back behind him and he just didn't get there. He's a half a step from it. But we're deceiving. It's deceiving because when it comes down, it keeps tailing and it comes down behind him. Heck of a try.
So runner at second and Starling Marte. Jordan Hicks is getting loose in the Cardinal pen. So there's the answer to our question. More than likely you would get the 9th inning. This is as well as Cabrera's pitched even in spring training. He had some rough outings in spring.
Yeah, I like that. He established himself pretty quickly too. He threw first pitch, get me over breaking ball, a really nice changeup, and then 95-mile-an-hour fastball to put the first guy away. And I thought, wow, that's something you don't see every day off of him. He really tries to come out and establish that hard fastball. Pitching backwards is just blowing guys away.
Back to him, steps and throws and makes the play. Sends us to the 9th inning and a 3-0 St. Louis lead. 3-0 Cardinals with a lead. They've allowed just 2 hits. Jack Flaherty gave up a hit. Genesis Cabrera a hit. That has been it. You think about doing little things. Zach Pop will be the new pitcher for Miami. Yesterday, bases loaded, nobody out. Marlins don't score. Think about the first inning with Jack Flaherty in this game. Flaherty gave up a base hit. Then it was a walk. Runners at first and second. Dickerson got picked off at second, and that is a big play in this game.
Yeah, not only does it take a man off the bases with nobody out, it kind of is like takes the air out of the sails a little bit. Dumb mistakes. Dumb mistakes will kill you because it really crushes the entire team. And then you get a little dissension a little bit saying, oh, what is he doing? Why is he doing that? What the heck's going on out there? And so that's a ripple effect right there in the first inning.
Cardinals have DeYoung, Cabrera's spot. Looks like John Nogowski would pinch hit. And then Yadi Molina, who struck back in the 7th with a 2-run homer. And the first pitch to DeYoung. Fastball and a strike from Zach Pop.
You saw this guy in spring too, right?
Saw him a bunch. These two teams saw each other a bunch.
That's true. Zach was born in Ontario, Canada, Brampton, Ontario, Canada, and was a college player at Kentucky. I was interested how you get from up there to down here and vice versa, but I guess if you can play, you can play.
Traveling teams.
They're obviously been around a little bit. They don't have, the sports up there like the baseball and football and other stuff like we do down here.
Sure.
You got to find a place to go. It's and sort of in some ways where you got to go find a school to play and find a place to play where baseball is just not around the corner everywhere.
I think social media helps. The fact that you could get somebody to go to a workout facility and say, hey, by the way, we have this kid in Canada. He's a big guy. Zach Pop is 6'4", 220 pounds. And here it is on the gun. He's throwing, mid-90s. Let's take a look at him. That wasn't prevalent or around. And now with the traveling teams of little leaguers, they'll find you.
I met a kid in the gym the other day, speaking of. Good-looking kid, big kid, younger. Said he had trying to play independent ball right now, and I asked him what he did, and he said he was a hitter, but he could pitch too. And I was like, okay, well, left-handed, right-handed, whatever. And he said that he hit pretty well, but everyone kind of overlooks guys, and everyone can hit. And I said, well, when's the last time you pitched? And he said, a while ago. Coach told me I was a better athlete. I should play the outfield. And I said, well, you're left-handed, right? And I said, how hard do you throw? He said, 95. And I said, and your coach told you what? So I said, hey, why don't you start throwing and let me try to help you out a little bit. So he started playing catch, and so see him.
He's a lefty throwing 95.
I've got video of him. He looks good. And like I said, going back to social media is why on his social media page there's videos of him throwing. And I thought, man, I want to see this kid throw. And he's from Michigan, and he's now living here because he's looking for a job in the independent league. But I'm looking to be an agent all of a sudden.
Count me in on the money on that too. A leadoff walk to Paul DeYoung. When I hear about a baseball player from Canada, I always just think Larry Walker, and he'll be inducted officially into baseball's Hall of Fame this year with Derek Jeter.
That's awesome.
Ted Simmons.
Do they take Tony La Russa out for a while until he retires again? Has that ever happened before? How many guys in the Hall of Fame have from 1979 to 2011 and then inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2014? Oh, and then from 2021 to 2030.
You got to get a new plaque. There's John Nagowski, the pinch hitter.
Who's he chasing? Is it John McGraw? He's going to catch John McGraw eventually.
Oh, wow. Up and in. Nagowski hops right back up, puts the helmet on, and he'll take first base. Did that get him in the hand?
That was really close to the hand and the bat, as far as bat on the ball and hand on the bat.
Take a look here.
This is scary right here.
Oh yeah.
Watch
Flush.
your face. God, his hand angle right here is just dropped. That's just enough to save him. Hopefully.
It was 95 miles an hour that hit his hand on that pitch. Look at that. He's even got a little cut on the hand with that.
I was noticing the little skin abrasion. Yikes. Little seams right there.
Inside to Molina, who's hit a 2-run homer. And they're out to visit. Here comes Mel Stottlemyre Jr.
That's the first time I've ever seen that through the batting glove.
I'm looking forward to the ovation he would get tomorrow. Home opener for John Nagowski.
There's going to be a lot of standing and clapping tomorrow.
The 1-0 pitch to Yadi or Molina with 2 runners on. Out of play. Pop, as Jimmy mentioned, played at Kentucky. Also pitched for the St. Cloud Rocks in 2015. Drafted by the Dodgers in the 7th round of 2017. He was part of a big deal that included the Baltimore Orioles and eventually made his way. And he was also Rule 5 pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks, but eventually made his way to Miami. Brantford, Ontario, that is the area of one Wayne Gretzky, I believe.
Just outside of Toronto.
Yep.
Do you know, I was talking to Wayne one time, and speaking of, and he used to have to drive when he was a kid into Toronto to play hockey because none of the parents wanted him to play in the league around their area because he's too good.
Yeah.
And even when he played at an older level and he was really young, they basically kicked him out of the league.
Have you seen those highlights when he was a young kid? I mean, you talk about dominating. He dominated.
It was silly.
It was ridiculous. There's Tyler O'Neill, and the base is loaded. And that's a ball.
He's got a great family. His kids are amazing. His wife is awesome. He's really done a nice job with that family, those boys. His older daughter. He's got an older daughter, a younger daughter, and the 2 boys in the middle. They're here a lot. Janet's family's from here.
Here's another Canadian-born baseball player in Tyler O'Neill. Does an offer at it. 2 balls and no strikes. He's got a pretty talented son-in-law, too.
He's not actually his son-in-law.
Well,
I just read something the other day where they've been engaged for 6 years.
Okay. Whatever, Jimmy. He's talented.
I told you.
Dustin Johnson.
He's beyond talented. So I told you, hitting balls with him on the range one day, and we were making fun of, I think it was Trevor Gretzky. He's left-handed. And he was struggling. And I was like, oh, I forgot you play left-handed. And he goes, yeah, it's kind of tough after baseball or whatever. And Dustin goes, come on. And he took Trevor's left-handed club, spun around 6-iron, and blasted it right down the middle like 200 yards. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. That's not even fair.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Check swing, and he did go 2-2. O'Neill today, couple of strikeouts and a line out. Two walks, hit batter so far, nobody out, bases loaded. The 2-2. Got him. So O'Neill strikes out for the 3rd time.
It's a really good sinker right here. Look where it starts and look where it finishes. That look right there says it all. Like, ouch. Can't believe I swung at that, or I can't believe I missed that, or all I had to do was put it in play to get an RBI.
Now Dylan Carlson. See him again, frustrated with that pitch. He knows he could probably done something with that. He's 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to short, grounded to first, and also struck out. Bases loaded, infield in, and just one down here in the top of the ninth. Cardinals leading 3-0.
This is why I was talking about that bat path indicator. Would love to see if he is just a little bit, has a little bit more of an upswing than normal. And that's what's causing him to get the ball too deep and being a little bit late.
Out of play, 0-2. Looking ahead to the ninth inning, Jordan Hicks standing on the mound in the bullpen. It'll be Aguilar, Cooper, and Anderson.
Take a look at this swing right here. Just opening up just a tad early, and that ball's running from him. And that's another thing too, being young in the league, you don't know if this guy's got a good sinker, four-seamer. You know a guy's got a good sinker, you just basically dive out over the plate and try to launch to left center field. Well, that swing tells me he's not trying to go to left center field.
Chops it foul. Taken there by Aguilar. 0-2 the count. Again, we're on the air tomorrow for the home opener. Hope you join us at 1:30. The game at 3:15 with the first pitch. Wainwright against Burns, but 1:30 with our coverage on Bally Sports. Little bit high. Missed in. 2-2.
Nasty pitch right here. Kind of a mistake. Threw the ball a little bit further inside than he wanted to, and I think, like we talk about all the time, miss the catcher by that much, sometimes you just don't get the strike.
The 2-2 pitch. Full count. So from 0-2, he's worked it full. Bases loaded, 3-2 pitch. Carlson, a drive, right center, grand slammer! Dylan Carlson unloads, and a long one into right center. His first career grand slam.
Listen to those fans, Danny.
Second home run in as many games in this series in Miami. His third on the year. Started 0-2, worked it full, and a blast into right center. Sweet swing of Dylan Carlson. The reaction from the Cardinal dugout, and they've opened up a 7-0 lead. Miles per hour, 409 feet. And a long home run, the grand slam hit by Dylan Carlson. Now Justin Williams up for the second time. Ooh, back off the pitcher, a race to the bag, and Williams is safe. So Curtis shook up on the comebacker right at him and saying to everybody he's all right. Boy, that's scary there.
Oof. What is that, the glove elbow area? Oh, yes, it is. Forearm. Can't believe he got up and ran over there. A lot of guts right there.
Jimmy, you're now up by 7. You got Hicks up. Does he come into the game?
I don't bring him in.
I'm wondering that.
If there was a day off tomorrow, maybe. I mean, I'm not Mike Schultz, but I try not to use him. If I were manager for the day.
There's Tommy Edman. Singled and scored back in the 8th.
I don't know. You know, it's really weird because you look at, you're going to play Milwaukee tomorrow. You got the home opener. You really want to win. And your thought process to me is, one, who's better off back-to-back days? You know, so like you look at maybe Andrew Miller or just whoever. Do you want to use him? But then you know, are you going to lose him for tomorrow because he hasn't thrown back-to-back a lot? And it's like all these equations.
I think it just comes down to he's back. You're easing him back in, and if he's up and throwing, he's coming.
Oh yeah, he probably has to throw now, but you can also set him down and send him home.
Well, that's my point. He was up earlier, so you had him up earlier. I think he's got to come in.
I think your only issue is, do you let him go out there and try for a 10-pitch inning, and if he doesn't, you get someone up right behind him. No other reason than just to get him in a game and keep his pitch count low. Even if he just gives up a hit or a walk or a couple of 3-2 counts, and enough's enough.
It's a 3-hit day for Tommy Edman. Upstairs to Goldschmidt. Had a 2-out RBI single to left to score Edman back in the 8th. That made it a 3-0 Cardinal lead, and the exclamation point by Dylan Carlson moments ago with a grand slam.
Did you say grand slam or grand slammer?
I think you know what I said. Although that would be meaning you're maybe paying attention to me.
Once in a while you have to. Did you say get out the rye bread and salami? What did he used to say? And was that Dave Niehaus in Seattle?
Yeah. Grand
get
salami.
Out get out the mustard and the rye bread, Grandma. We got a grand salami.
Out to center. Marte backing up, and he'll make the catch.
Some characters announcing some of these games around the league.
Oh, are there?
Especially back in the day. How'd you like my text message about the opening day post-game rant that that guy had in Cleveland?
Oh yeah, he was fired up.
Oh, man. Thought maybe it was a joke. He was going off on some guy.
I think it was Bruce Drennan.
Yeah, you don't know anything about this sport.
Callers were calling.
I'll be done after that one.
To the post game.
He wasn't too happy.
Arenado looks at his strike. He is the 9th man to come to the dish here in the 9th inning.
You would have thought that was Tony La Russa in one of his post-game interviews when someone probably said, well, there goes the pennant after opening day.
He had a pretty good one where he said, you know, something like, we're talking about the first week. It's week 1.
I wish I could have listened to more of those.
Oh, they were great. I know the cat misses him. I mean, the cat would go one-on-one with Tony TV.
Hal McRae.
He had an epic rant where he threw the phone in his office.
You know what's so funny is Scott Rowland played with him, and I played for him, whatever, as a hitting coach. He was so quiet. I never saw that. He was fiery, though. He played like that, but as a hitting coach, he wasn't the same guy. Scott loved him, but he was definitely not that fiery as a hitting coach.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Nolan Arenado. Held on to in the strikeout. Dylan Carlson with the grand slam. And the Cardinals add to their lead, looking for a sweep. It's 7-0. Lewis 0-2-0 for the Marlins. Both teams have left 5 on. Jack Flaherty, part of the story today. He was very good. He did have the 4 walks, but outside of that, very good.
Yeah, he did. He had 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 4 walks, like you said, 6 strikeouts, and a lot of pitches, but I think we're seeing something that Jack Flaherty's starting to figure out. He throws strikes and he comes at you. He's going to be dominant. Threw a pretty good game today. He's got a lot more in the tank, I'll tell you that much.
It'll be Aguilar, Cooper, and Anderson. So Carlos Martinez is throwing in the Cardinals bullpen. His next scheduled start would be Saturday, so maybe getting some work in just to throw on the side. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, this would be his,
what's today?
Yeah, this would be the right
today,
way
Wednesday?
to do that. Yep.
Every day's a Monday in this league.
And a fastball at 100. And the 1-0 pitch by Jordan Hicks. 2 balls and no strikes. Aguilar, a walk, fly to center, and grounded out to short. Ouch.
I believe it was I. don't miss those days.
Two balls and one strike. And a base hit beats the shift. I know where my partner is going with this. Why is there a shift with a guy throwing 100? Am I right or wrong?
Oh, my Lord.
I guess that's my answer.
Especially the guy hits the ball the other way all the time.
Jimmy, the numbers will tell you that's where they should probably be positioned. Now don't kill the messenger here. You're zipping it up. You're done. Here's Garrett Cooper. 7-0 our score. That's the first hit that Hicks has allowed so far this season, and a strike. .100 on the gun. 0-2 the count. And the next two, Garrett Cooper. Got him to chase and a strikeout. That is unfair.
This guy has no chance.
It's a ninth Marlin to strike out.
Ooh.
So at the time, you may be wondering why Jordan Hicks in at a 7-0 game. It was 3-0 at the time when he got up and started throwing to get loose to come in a save situation. And I'm sure the thought process is, you know, he's up and throwing, coming off injury, so he's coming in the game. And a strike.
Should get the save if you get up before the score gets out of control. Not just come into the game.
Was supposed to be a save, so I get a save.
Yeah. I was ready to come in and get the save, and then they ruined it.
Cardinals dropped 2 of 3 over the weekend in Cincinnati, and they were shell-shocked with the offense of the Reds. But in this series, man, the pitching has been really good, especially the bullpen. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Sinking.
God, look at the ball go down right there. It's threw a couple of 4-seamers and a couple of 2-seamers up, and then as soon as he throws that ball down below the knees, it just explodes into a sinker.
One ball and 2 strikes. The next two, Anderson. And a wild pitch that'll get away. So they look in the cap with a runner at second, and they have the notes on what they'll go with on pitches to make sure that they do not have a bunch of visits.
What sign they're going to use.
2-2 the count. Just saw Carlos Martinez sit down. Brian Eversgerd, bullpen coach, started making notes. One of the things the Cardinals do, every team doing this, but he is going to chart everything. How many pitches he throws.
They do keep track of how many pitches they throw in warm-ups, bullpens, and anytime they're throwing the ball off a mound.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Oh. 102, and he walked him. Single, the strikeout, now a walk. So one thing too, when you come into a 7-0 game, about being focused too. You get up, it's 3-0. The adrenaline is going. You're in a big league game. Granted, adrenaline's going to be there, but not as much on the line.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised that if in the bullpen, as soon as that ball's hit, he's thinking, oh man, I'm not going in now.
Could be, sure. Here's Chisholm. Runners at first and second. Slicing out to left, and Tyler O'Neill there with the catch. And the final hope now for Miami here in this 9th inning is John Birdie. Cardinals Live, our post-game show is coming up. Take you through the highlights of this one. Jordan Hicks, pitch number 15. Taken low, 101 on the gun. Throwing harder today.
He's getting loose.
Had been hovering right around 98, 99, and he's hitting consistently triple digits today. And the 1-0 pitch to Birdie. 102. Not just the velocity, Jimmy, but look at the movement.
Missed it.
Look at the movement on these.
And that ball's down. I'm telling you, it just takes off. And it's just late, too. It's not like it's coming out like a two-seamer where you're seeing a bowling ball and it's able to be timed and running down. It is coming at you, and then it really doesn't have enough time to break. It's getting there too quick.
The 1-1.
He's at a disadvantage because he throws too hard. His ball doesn't run as much.
The 2-1 pitch. Fastball on the black at 102. The Cardinals 1 out away from a sweep in Miami. And a 4-2 road trip to start the season. The 2-2.
Come on. Game has changed right there, my friend. That was 15 years ago. Whew. And they would walk off so fast you couldn't argue with them.
3-2 pitch by Jordan Hicks. On its way.
How do you not expand the zone just enough to actually call a strike in a 7-0 game with 2 outs in the 9th?
The 3-2 pitch. Spoiled. On the air tomorrow, 1:15 pregame show, 2:30 all the festivities. We'll carry it live in its entirety on Bally Sports. Wainwright against Corbin Burns as Milwaukee is in town.
Danny, my boys, Hart and Hayes are watching this game right now. 2.5 years old. They're turning into baseball fans in a hurry. My son asked me today, and I just forgot until right now. Daddy, do you say hi to me when you're on TV tonight? So, Hart, that one was for you. And Hayes, I know you're watching also. And I'm sure Aspen's right next to them with big brother Landon.
Last pitch was at 103 from Jordan Hicks.
Just getting loose.
And the 3-2 pitch by Hicks. 103 again. Jake Woodford has grabbed a baseball and just starts to play catch down in the Cardinals bullpen. Yeah, 23 pitches now for Jordan Hicks.
I wish it was a 2-2 count because I'd love to see what he would do with the slider right here. Might tie him up.
3-2 by Hicks. Lifted into right, racing in. Williams, a diving catch to end it. What a play. What a catch by Williams. And the Cardinals have a sweep in Miami. Tremendous catch to end it.
Pretty good play right there by Justin Williams. That basically saves a pitching change, but pretty good all the way around with the Cardinals. Nice job today staying with that game, Danny. They didn't score until the 7th inning and walked away with a 7-0 lead. Pretty good job by Jack, Cabrera, Hicks, everyone. Gotta love it.
Shutout as well. Cardinals win it 7-0, and it's the home opener tomorrow. Post-game show coming up. Dylan Carlson, the grand slam, 7-0 the final, and the post-game show is next.